Now, something that's noticeable here, halfway down the page, or a little less than halfway down, is the election workers and supplies line item. Everybody knows we're in a state election cycle. Everybody's probably seen in the commercials and gotten the propaganda from everybody that's running for office. Because of the state election cycle, we are forecasting primary elections and the increase for those. Our registrars have told us that we will need almost $11,000 to cover all possible outcomes for all the different votes. This is something that's really not negotiable. We have to provide these for the elections. As we continue on, and we get into our public safety line item, the majority of what we have here for public safety, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of change here. The constables operate on similar pay raises as the town hall and the highway workers' salaries. The large thing here is that in a tough economy, no department has been left untouched. Even the Ambulance Association has offered to work with us and reduce their budget $11,562. This is a proportional line item because we share with Park Hampstead, so they actually reduced it roughly $15,000. And it just goes to show you that even when you're dealing with something like the Ambulance Association, as difficult as the economy is, when we looked at them and said, people are losing jobs, this is not an aggressive agenda, we'd ask them to look within themselves to find savings for the town in any way, shape they could, without compromising their ability to serve the town in terms of public safety. So that is the big line item change on page 7. When you get into the highway line item on page 8, and you look at here, we've dealt with our Board of Finance on this issue. While you look at this line item and you see what I've implemented here, it looks like roughly a $5,000 increase, and I've told you previously that we have a reduction in staff here. You have to remember and look to the past. When we came into office in December, we had a legal situation with an employee who was suspended and then terminated for a year. He was not budgeted in this present year budget, so when we got the arbitrator's decision to reinstate that employee, there was no funding. So while we are reducing one employee, the one person that is restored to the position offsets the majority there, actually costs us $4,920. When you look further down and you look at the sand and salt budget, for many years, the town officials before me had budgeted roughly $50,000. We had a lengthy discussion about this at past meetings. We are currently roughly $50,000 over budget. That line item, those two line items combined, again, it's been that way for many, many years. We have had to fund that through other line items. So we're trying to get a little bit more honest and trying to appropriately budget what is needed to appropriately deal with the public safety and the service to the town. $75,000 for both sand and salt looks to be appropriate. When you look at the asphalt paving and the crack and chip seal, you're looking at a fundamental change in what I might refer to as a triage mentality. With the 80 miles of road that we have and the estimated age life of the roads, we have to somewhat stop the bleeding in terms of care and maintenance of our local town roads. To adequately go in and sit there and say, how can we take care of these roads? You look at what was spent 7, 8, 9 years ago in terms of the road budget, and you find out that years ago, if you eliminate the salary line items and the sand and salt, the actual road dollars adjusted for inflation are greater then than they are now. We've actually decreased the amount of commitment we have to our infrastructure here, and it's a very troubling sign going forward. You know, years ago when we went in and actually been studying, the road budget was roughly $1,150,000, and now it's $1,350,000. And if you look at the $200,000 and you take out the salary differences, you look at that in the sand and salt and you say, we're basically spending the same amount of money or less, and the services and the oil and the asphalt that we buy cost so much more today than it did then, that we're getting so much less accomplished for our town. Now obviously we know that the economy is tough. We're trying to rein in So what we've done here is gone to a triage method, and what we're going to try and do is through maintenance and this crack and chip seal and shim paving, we're going to try and stabilize the deterioration of the roads that we have and try to work with our Board of Finance to get some of our worst roads done through different avenues. Steel Road being one that we are looking at significantly. But there are other challenges that lay before us. So we've done what the Board of Finance requested us to do, increase the sand and salt line items that we had in the last meeting. But again, this is a long-term concern for our town. You can't think with 80 miles of road that you can fund, roughly $420,000 at $150,000 a mile. If it was $450, that would be 3 miles. You can't think that amount is a 25-year replacement process. The pavement just doesn't last that long without adequate maintenance. We should really be doing 5 or 6 or 7 miles a year. So, as we turn the page and we look at the planning and development line items, this department, more than any, has been impacted the most. This department, by its nature and the union contracts that exist, will see one staff reduction. It also sees a renegotiation of the position for the building inspector. Other than that, you don't see anything else because really it's level funded all the way through. So a lot of the decisions that we make revolve around the union contracts that we have and seniority. It's not a comfortable position, and it's unfortunate, but this is the nature of the contracts, and as we deal with the town, we have somewhat no choice in the matter. When we look at our libraries, we maintain our commitment to our libraries across the board. We did bring that up, that should our budget be put in jeopardy, or should the Board of Finance hold the line or be forced with other unintended or unexpected expenses, this might be an area where we have to go. But there's no selectmen that want to go here. The library is a valued service for our town. We're trying to hold the line here to level fund both our libraries for next year. You can see also, look back into the past, you can see the 2009-2010, the Beakley Library saw a $10,000 reduction last year.